Jessii Vee. I'm so purple today. I feel like a big grape, but like a fancy grape. So in today's video, we're gonna be talking about freak shows, which is a name that I hate saying, to be honest. Freak show sounds so harsh, especially because these people in the past were definitely exploited for money. People with disabilities, diseases, people who may have just been physically unusual that people weren't really used to. They were just like thrown on a stage to either be laughed at, to shock people, whatever it might have been, and it was kind of a sad situation. So today we're going to be talking about the most famous people that were in freak shows that I wouldn't consider a freak. I would consider very, very cool, actually. If you guys have seen the movie The Greatest Showman, it kind of reminds me of that song called This Is Me. It's about just embracing yourself and loving yourself. And I really wish we had those morals back in the day when there were freak shows. But unfortunately, that was a huge part of our history, and that is why we're going to be talking about them today. Before we get started, I just want to give you guys another reminder. We do have the new Christmas mystery boxes. They come in 3 different sizes. There is the Magic Mini, the Mystical Medium, and the Galactic Giant. So what you see in the picture is not exactly what you're gonna get. That's just an example. Every single box is gonna be totally different. Some of the things you may get are already on the merch site that you're familiar with, and other things are completely brand new that we only got for the mystery boxes. So this is a new limited time thing, so if you would like yours in time for Christmas, definitely check out the link down below in the description. It's just literally filled with everything that I love. It's magical. Okay, so let's start by talking a little bit about the history of freak shows. A freak show is an exhibition of biological rarities, referred to in popular culture as freaks of nature. Typical features would be physically unusual humans, such as those that are uncommonly large or small, those with extraordinary diseases and conditions, and others with performances expected to be shocking to viewers. Heavily tattooed or pierced people have sometimes also been seen in freak shows. Also performers such as fire-eating and sword-swallowing acts. In the mid-16th century, freak shows became popular pastimes in England. Deformities began to be treated as objects of interest and entertainment, and the crowds flocked to see them exhibited. So like I said, people would literally pay money to go into these circus-like places to view people who had deformities. And the sad thing is, that was sometimes the only way that these people could earn money, because they couldn't get jobs doing normal things because of the way they looked. So let's start with the performer called Ella Harper, and she was known as the Camel Girl. Ella Harper was born with a condition known as genu recurvatum. I hope I'm saying that right. This is a condition that basically has someone's knees hyperextend. So instead of bending the way that we're all used to bending our knees, they bend the other way. And because of the way they bent, it was more comfortable for Ella to walk on all fours, and that is how she earned the name the Camel Girl. So this condition really affected her physical state, obviously, but her mental state was totally normal. She was actually extremely smart, and her plan was that after she made all of this money from the freak shows, she would go off to school, and that is exactly what she did. So this is not really a sad case as much as it is sort of a success story, because she started off being in a freak show and then actually took all that cash and started her education so she could live her life the way she wanted to. But people had never seen a human's knees bend the opposite direction, and that's why she was so intriguing. The next person was called General Tom Thumb. Charles Sherwood Stratton, or better known as General Tom Thumb, is one of the most famous little person sideshow performers in history. Young Charles stopped growing at approximately 2 feet tall. He was actually discovered at the age of 4 years old and was taken into the circus. Imagine being that young, taken into a freak show. That is so young. You haven't even lived any of your life yet. He was in a freak show for 40 years until his death. But apparently he earned a fortune being in a freak show. They're saying like millions of dollars in today's money. And they say he married another little person by the name of Lavinia Warren, and they had a happy life together. So apparently he actually enjoyed being in this line of work. So I mean, if he did, then that's his choice, right? Next we have Frank Lentini, which was a man with 3 legs, so they called him the three-legged man. Born in Sicily in 1881, Francesco Lentini was unique from birth. He not only had an almost entirely complete 3rd leg, but also had a small 4th foot attached to that leg's knee. So he had 3 legs and 4 feet. Now his condition was actually the result of having a conjoined twin at birth. When he was born, the twin that was attached to him actually didn't make it past birth. They had to take that part of the twin off, but they could not remove the other leg part. It's actually a pretty disturbing and sad story if you think about it. He basically still has his twin's leg attached to him. Living his life, he was actually very depressed about his condition. He was a very sad man. He couldn't get over the way he looked. But then he spent a lot of time at a school for disabled children, and he learned to really accept himself at that time, and that's when he went into the freak shows. And he would do these performances where he would like go around kicking a soccer ball with his 3rd leg. He would jump rope with 3 legs, and people were fascinated, and he actually enjoyed that line of work as well. So I guess not all of these people like hated what they did, but I still feel like they were exploited. Next we have Stefan Barofsky, and he was known as the lion-faced man. Born in 1891 in modern-day Poland, Stefan Barofsky was an ordinary boy who just happened to have thick hair that grew all over his body. Now, his mother was convinced that the reason why he looked like a lion was because his father was attacked by a lion while she was pregnant with him, so she thought she kind of got cursed because that happened. The sad thing is his mother actually thought he was a monster when she gave birth to him, so she gave him away. What his mother didn't know was he suffered from a condition. This condition is known as hypertrichosis, which is a disorder that gives people what they call werewolf syndrome, where you just grow so much hair all over your body, and sometimes it literally makes you look like a wolf or a lion. The thing is, this man was known for being so gentle and kind and sweet. He had a really great personality. He reportedly spoke 5 different languages, which is amazing. And so his act at the freak show was literally talking a bunch of different languages with different people. He earned so much money from freak shows that he was actually able to retire in his 30s, and he returned back to Europe where he was born, and unfortunately died when he was 41 years old, which is really, really young, but he was a very kind soul. The next person is Annie Jones. She is known as the Bearded Lady. This one definitely reminds me of The Greatest Showman. Annie Jones may not be the original bearded woman, but she was certainly one of the most famous and possibly the youngest. She was born in the 1860s and started doing freak shows when she was only 9 months old. Oh my goodness, I could never do that to my child. That is heartbreaking. Apparently, she was able to grow a full mustache by the time she was 5 years old, and she was one of the most popular acts at the freak show. People even began calling her Monkey Girl, which I find so offensive. And when she got a lot older, she was just known as one of the most famous bearded ladies in history. And what I love is that it says she started using her platform to discourage the use of the word freaks to refer to sideshow performers. So she wanted them to stop being called freak shows because obviously it's offensive, and she really started that movement, which is amazing. The last person we're gonna talk about is Myrtle Corbin, and she is a 4-legged lady. Myrtle Corbin, known as the 4-legged girl from Texas, was born with a severe congenital deformity of conjoined twinning that caused her to have 2 separate pelvises and a smaller set of inner legs that she was able to move. So she had like 2 normal sized legs and then 2 like smaller mini sized legs in between them. Apparently, when she was just a month old, her father would take her to her neighbors' houses and they would like pay him to stare at her, which is so weird. And he realized that he started making money to whoever he would show her to. She apparently started performing at freak shows when she was only 13 years old. And by the time she was 18, she had made so much money from freak shows that she retired at 18. She went on to find the love of her life. She got married, she had 5 children, so she actually had a really happy life with a lot of money from the freak show. So those are all of the people we're gonna talk about today. If I missed any really popular ones, definitely comment them down below. But I'm so glad we don't have things called freak shows anymore. Like, it's a really offensive thing. But it is important to look back at what our history used to be and to see how much we've improved nowadays. Not saying that we're all there yet, because people still are very disrespectful and uninclusive of everybody, but you know, we're better better than back then. Anyways though guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you would like a new mystery box, the link is down below in the description. But I hope you have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!